A whole lot of losers actually think that if they suck up to Destiny, they will get wealth and fame at a comparable scale. That is not how that works. This is it. The far left, a parasite on democracy, talking with Kraut the Parrot and Short Fat Otaku. Which is an odd pair to pick. Especially if this is Kraut and T, the calling all academics guy who tried to run gay ops on other conservative creators. That's interesting. That is interesting. Interesting decision. They still have a podcast? Did they do a podcast together? This seems to be like a... I thought it was the Erudite panel. Well, Erudite's on this panel. She's on this panel for a large part of it. In fact, I think for most of it. She jumps in at the hour 30 mark. Yeah. The far left, a parasite on democracy. What a strange title. Genuinely a strange title. I actually don't know what that means. I thought these were the I thought these were the intellectual diversity guys. I thought these were the free speech guys. But no, the far left is a parasite on democracy. I suppose I shouldn't investigate it too hard. These people don't read. They don't understand English. They don't understand language. They don't think very hard. Every single person on this call is there, let us be clear, because they're trying to suck up to an ephebophile who is currently in court for sharing images that he sometimes took without permission, shared without permission to a minor. Lest we forget. In any case, I have been promised Crimson Desert, and I will get my Crimson Desert. Here we go.
Okay. Welcome, 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 one and all.
One moment. That's better. Here we go.
To yet another episode of WhickTV. It's a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. And today we have a very special guest with us, Kraut, from the YouTube of the same name.
Who cares?
Kraut the Parrot, I think it is. I have it in my fucking stream settings, so you can check it out. And you should. His essays are marvelous. He does a great rundown of history and politics. And
his videos are actually very bad. I've watched them before. They are middling at best. They're not great.
In the European Union and Europe in general, you should really go kind of give him a listen. But today, we're going to be talking about the far left. We're going to be talking about their effect on the discourse. We're going to be talking about their effect on liberalism in general. Whether or not liberals should be allying ourselves with the left.
We should not be allying ourselves with liberals. They are genocide apologists and charlatans who will throw every single person they claim to represent under the bus at the shortest opportunity, at the most immediate, at the quickest opportunity, the nearest opportunity. There we go. I lost the word. At the nearest opportunity. And then they will pretend afterwards that that is pragmatism and not naked self-interest.
To what extent? Where can we work with them, and where should we not work with them?
Don't work with them at all. Don't work with them. We do not want to be poisoned with you.
Any place such exists. We got Dev coming a little bit, right? He'll be here in a second, and he'll add to the conversation. We may have a few other people stop by, as they will. I know Erudite said she might want to drop in, and we might have her. But we'll see, right? But Kraut, why don't you tell people about yourself a little bit, and who you are, and all that.
Thank you for that introduction, for the shout out. That was very nice of you. Very nice. I guess I'm a YouTuber. I make political science and history videos. Not always essays. Like recently, I haven't done a lot of essays, unfortunately. I haven't done a lot of content recently, actually. I've been kind of slacking. I got really sick. I needed to get surgery and had a really shitty recovery. What is important to know about me is that I used to be an anti-SJW YouTuber. So my thing is, like, I started out in that code in 2016. That stopped in 2017. Then I sort of went to making liberal content, political science and history content, basically. And I've been doing that ever since.
This is not political science content. At best, he cribs from Fukuyama. And that's about it. And cribbing from theorists is not the same thing as doing political science, and there's not political science videos. And he reduces them in a horrible way. They are incredibly, incredibly dim. This is where we want to be. Is that an AI image of Erudite? Anyways.
Okay.
Well, I guess, Soipol, the way that I would look at it is, if you think you can do good by interfacing with these guys, go ahead. But, like, if you turn around and suddenly your community is, like, 80% tanky, you should probably double think it, you know?
I don't think most, if any, of my community is tanky, but we'll see. Wait, Kylo, back me up here.
I'm not gonna...
Hi, how are you?
Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Hang on. Who else is on this? Why is he only linked Dev and Kraut?
Uh-oh.
Wick, you can't get views even from Destiny. Like, this isn't... Wick, Dev and Kraut are not going to carry you.
Accusing you of that.
No, you don't have to, because I just know it's not true.
That's Soy Pill? Who the hell is Soy Pill? Oh, he's one of these guys. Look, guys. Charlie Kirk is guys, did you know Charlie Kirk was racist? Did you know Charlie Kirk was racist, guys? Did you know that Charlie Kirk was a bad... Yes, we know. We know, thank you.
But even if you did,
Hey, Erudite.
Hi. What do I back up on what?
Primarily tanky right now?
I would say so.
If you have Ryan Grim
Yeah.
Progressive Victory is apparently tanky now. Yeah, they didn't want to hang around with you guys because the center of your community is an ephebophile sex pest who secretly records people in his bedroom. Yeah, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? Is it his bedroom? He secretly records people in the bedroom. We'll go with that.
Did you
Ryan
see my
fucking Grim.
beautiful
Hold on, I just want to say this real
spectrum of
quick
the
because
left?
you're saying Jesus. I was just in a meeting with Jonah 3 hours ago. It is a primarily tanky org, yes. Like, so I don't know what he's saying in your chat, but yes, 100%. That's 100% a tanky org. Jesus. My court case will get thrown out in 2 days. 1 year later.
Like, I'm going to read you Jonah's words verbatim.
Okay, read them. Yeah.
You are conflating tankies and socialists. Socialists, yes.
You can't parody him. It's like...
Tanky, no. It's pro-electoral socialist.
It's yes.
Democratic
There are
socialists. Okay,
definitely
got it.
pro-electoral socialists, and there are definitely probably accelerationists that would love to co-op the socialist space.
Sure, those people are in there too.
Can you tell me what
Are they pretending to be socialists now? What is going on?
exactly
Yeah.
the point of democratic socialism is, if the only thing you get to vote for is who is on your firing squad?
What?
Two purposes. Number one, you can be a communist without having to
What is he talking about? What?
outline your power level. Number two, it's for coward communists who don't really actually want to.
Hold on.
True. Stop trying to seduce me, Kyla.
Just real quick, we
Okay,
have
that's-
Jonah.
that's
We
the
could bring
thing.
Jonah on and ask him.
I
Is
keep
that
telling
cool?
him he should come on and clarify this,
Okay,
but I don't
let's-
know.
Yeah,
if
he
he
wants
wants
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh, hey, there we
There
go,
we go.
buddy. How's my favorite?
Okay.
Jew?
Now that you're here in the hot
Yeah,
seat.
yeah.
Okay.
Hey Jonah, did you know that Destiny doxed people because they were talking about his court case because he shared pornographic videos of Pixie with a minor without Pixie's consent? Yeah, did you know your favorite person apparently in this panel did that? Okay, just checking.
I don't want to be here for very long, but yeah, basically I describe Tanky as like pro Russia, pro China when it comes to China Taiwan. That is not the position of the leadership as I understand it.
That's not what
They are
tankies
socialists.
Wait, so you're not MLs then? You're not
We weren't
MLs?
talking about leadership. We weren't
I
talking about
don't
leadership.
know.
They're like-
Hold on. Yeah, one at a time.
They're
Go ahead,
they're-
Destiny. We weren't.
they're-
Yeah.
He is literally correct, by the way. That is literally the definition of tanky. The word comes from literal support for Soviet tanks deployed in Hungary to crush protesters. Just to be clear, that is literally what the word means. So Kyla, no, that is correct. That is correct.
We weren't talking
They're
about
socialists.
the leadership. We're talking
Yeah.
about the people they're working with.
Yeah.
The people they're working with are generally these days significantly less pro-genocide than the people they were working with when you guys were involved. That seems to be the major turn.
No. We weren't talking about the people we're working with. We were talking about the organization has been subverted by Hassan and his movement. That's what was said.
Yeah.
They're
Oh, I
clearly
think it's
working
more
with tankies.
Vosh.
They're working with
I think
Hassan.
it's Vosh's audience more than it's Hassan's audience in PV. if I'm
It's
being honest.
it's entirely Vosh's audience.
Yeah, I figured. But
Yeah.
Vosh is a tanky.
Vosh is a liberal. Vosh is a liberal who wants people to obey the law, and he wants people to not do anything that is not explicitly sanctioned by the state, and he wants people to vote Democrat. Vosh is a liberal. Madam.
Or as close as you can be
I
without.
don't know. I haven't.
Is he?
Okay, hey, riddle me this. Who was demonetized on YouTube after the killing of Charlie Kirk because he was celebrating it? Vosh or Destiny? It wasn't Vosh.
Watched
I
Vosh
would
in a
say
long time.
I don't think-
Vosh actually does content. Vosh actually is hyper vigilantly opposed to tankies. Vosh will call people tankies as an insult who aren't tankies. Vosh is intensely anti-communist. Vosh is intensely critical of Russia and the Soviet Union and of China. Vosh is pro-Ukraine against Russia. What are you talking about? Are you insane? Yes, they are.
I think he is. No, I don't
Does he
think
want to
is,
get
no.
rid of private property rights?
No. He's rich, Kyla. He likes his private property. No, he doesn't.
Well, yes, he does.
That's
yeah.
not what a tank is.
No, he doesn't. And true, that is not what a tanky is. Anarchists want to get rid of property rights. And to be clear, by getting rid of property rights, they mean they want to get rid of property. And by getting rid of property, specifically, they mean they want to get rid of a particular class of people hoarding control over those parts of the world that are the conditions of human life. They don't want to take away your books or your clothes or make you have to rent out your shoes.
That's what
I
I
would
think
say
he is
it's
now.
definitely moving. Well, I didn't say that's a tanky, but it's definitely moving you in the tanky direction.
Oh, absolutely.
No, it's not. That's like saying wanting there to be democratic elections is moving in the ANCAP direction. There's no relation.
Absolutely, yeah, but that's
Wait,
socialist.
how are we
What
defining
we've
tanky?
done
Then?
is-
Have we done this?
When I think
Like
tanky, I
Marxist
think like
Leninists, yeah.
USSR apologist, like communist
And
China
ML?
is great. Like, yeah,
Yes, right now, that is what they refer to. I had people in my chat recently who were upset because I was criticizing that weirdo, who was pointing out that there was discontinuity between Marx and Lenin and Stalin, and I had the opinion that Stalin's attempt to merge state nationalism with socialism was incoherent at some level. And so this person was complaining, oh, you must be a trot. And it's like, no, there are many different angles from which one can point out an incoherence in someone's theoretical approach. Mine, for example, doesn't even stem from the Marxist position. Mine comes from the position of Stalin essentialized the nation state in a way that is ignorant of its contingent history.
MLs like Lenin is good, Stalin is good.
Let me give an
Marxism,
example.
like-
Well,
Let me
there's
give
direct
an
examples here. There's Ryan Grimm, who, ever
me
since
give
the
an
first
example.
Russian tanks rolled in, has been
Yeah.
on Russia's side.
I don't believe Ryan Grimm has been on Russia's side. What? When has Ryan Grimm been pro-Russia? What? He's not pro... when has he ever been pro-Russia? When has he ever been pro... What is this referring to? Did I miss something?
Yes,
okay,
please.
Ryan Grimm does not run Progressive Victory. I'll give you an example.
But you promote him. You have him on.
Do you want me to speak, or I don't work for
Okay,
PV.
yeah,
I got
sorry.
ousted. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway,
Which Jonah is this? This isn't Pondering Politics, is it? Which Jonah is this?
Go
Sorry.
ahead, John.
That was too basic.
So yeah, I got ousted from that org. But like for example, they're supporting Kat Abu Ghazaleh, or however you pronounce it, in the Illinois 9th question mark.
Like, will they take people's houses? No. They would probably take housing blocks from the control of individual landlords who then control entire slums, right? No, it's a different Jonah? Good. Good. I'm glad it's a different Jonah.
She
Yeah.
had some like position paper come out that was like, in the
How do you
event of
spell
like
that?
figure it out. In the event of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, that the
Oh
US
my god, my brain's not working. That's Josiah, not Jonah. Dear God, I am so underslept. Look, it's been a rough month, okay? Go easy on me.
should actively support Taiwan with weapons and whatever, right? That pissed off a lot of tankies online. They were like including Ryan Grimm, who I agree
Ryan Grimm is not a tanky.
is much closer to tanky than the average socialist or whatever. But they supported Kat and they were like, fuck these tankies. This does not change our opinion of her at all. We agree with her position on Taiwan. That is what I would see as, if they were a tanky organization and from the leadership, they would not have that position.
I don't know.
And I'm not
If I
going
say
to
that
out
I'm
specific
against
people,
something,
but the leadership I know, like, I'm not going to out specific people, but I know the leadership is.
Okay, just to be clear, okay? This is Ryan Grimm. Not to overstate it, but this is a crucial moment for the Democratic Party. If they decide that normal people with some small skeletons in their closet or inked on their chest are not welcome, they are finished. Because they tried the other way and it didn't work. Brian Grimm is a liberal. Brian Grimm is pro-electoralism. Brian Grimm is the, hey, we got to get behind the Democratic Party even if they took part in war crimes because we got to win the election normally. Ryan Grimm is a liberal. He is not a tanky. He's barely a socialist. Like, I'm sorry. No. Wait, what is Ryan Grimm's position on Taiwan? I have no idea. If I had to guess, I think Ryan Grimm's like position on Russia was probably something to the effect of like the Mearsheimer one, where it's like he talks about NATO encroachment and he talks about like certain things that, you know, quote unquote, were provocative to Russia, but not in the sense that they were justifications for the Russian invasion. Just literally talking about like what are the things that would make that action seem desirable from either side, right? That's not the same thing. Like, for example, if Taiwan, if there was a big anti-China demonstration in Taiwan or some big statement, that would be a provocation. Would it justify China invading Taiwan? No, right? He's pro self-determination. I would assume so. Ryan Grimm on. Let's find out. Let's find out. Maybe he said something about it. Grim Press article on Ryan from Taiwan. What? That's not what we're looking for. I don't even see like stuff about Ryan Grimm on Taiwan anywhere when I look online. Let's see. Ryan Grimm X Taiwan. Okay. Okay, here we go. This might be something useful. Let's see. So this is from this month. Okay.
Let's talk then a little bit about your policy on Taiwan. And again, rather than quoting from the letter from the advisor, I'll just let you have the floor here of how you think that the U.S. should approach Taiwan and China.
Look, the Republicans want to use China as some boogeyman, and I don't think it has to be that way. We are in a globalized world. I am not an isolationist, but I want us to get to a point where China can be a partner with us in trade and innovation. I also have to balance that with the commitment that I have to self-determination and to promises that we have made in the past. Regarding Taiwan, I think one thing this email didn't get clear was the fact that any sort of military aid to Taiwan is an absolute last resort, not just after diplomatic options have been exhausted, but after we exhaust the diplomatic options after that. We need to be reinvesting in diplomacy between Taiwan and China, between Taiwan and the US, and the US and China. Additionally, we need to be politically adhering to the One China policy. If the Taiwanese people pass a referendum saying they want reunification with China, I'm absolutely supportive of that. That is their choice. But once again, invasion is where we draw the line. Even then, I don't support boots on the ground in Taiwan. I support specifically in a defensive stance for Taiwan to be able to protect itself from invasion, to ensure that there is, a cost by trying to invade this country. But I also want to stress here that military aid should be conditional. And I don't care if it's Taiwan or Mexico. If we are providing military aid to a country, we need to ensure it's conditional, that crimes against humanity are not being systematically committed using our weapons paid for by our tax dollars. Additionally, I also want to stress that military aid is expensive. I also think we should be slashing the Pentagon's budget, and that we should be closing many of our military bases overseas. This is a massive cost, and we also need to be investigating companies and contractors in the military industrial complex that have essentially robbed the taxpayers of our money for their own profit.
So the current policy towards Taiwan is known as you've talked about, strategic ambiguity, where the U.S. won't say whether or not they're going to come in and actively defend in the case of a Chinese assault on Taiwan. Do you believe, as the memo says, and I believe you've said elsewhere, but just get it directly from you, do you believe that policy should be altered? And how?
Here's the thing. If we had a president who wasn't a complete madman, like a complete psychopath, I would say let's not even touch it. If we had a president AOC here who was able to balance these things at one time, I would say absolutely this is the policy to go with. But we don't have that. We have a guy who's waging a Christian war with Israel against Iran with zero provocation. We need to ensure that we are codifying major actions that we will need to take regardless of the president under this administration, especially because no one, the United States, China, any other country in the world, has any idea what would happen if China does invade Taiwan. Under this president, it could be wiping your hands clean and saying, I'm good. He could try to nuke it. We have no idea. By codifying a response, we can ensure that there is that deterrence for more diplomatic solutions, which once again is the main thing. The last thing I want is war with China. But Trump is a madman, and we have no idea his response to anything on the foreign or domestic stage. This is why it's controversial to broach the subject at all, but why I did so.
Just one quick follow-up. So just to make sure I understand what you're saying. So because Trump is a madman, you want to codify that the U.S. will definitely respond militarily if China moves on Taiwan.
Will provide military aid to Taiwan if asked to defend itself from an invasion. That military aid,
If he has an issue with that, that'll be interesting.
of course, being conditional.
And aid means shipping weapons, or aid means actively participating in and assisting
Shipping
in the
weapons.
defense?
I know in the past I have said aid in intercepting missiles at the beginning of an invasion. I think that is on the table, but we should not have U.S. troops deployed on Taiwanese soil.
What you are about to hear is the most beautiful sound in the galaxy.
Thank you, Gangaros. Who in their right mind wants the U.S. presidency as an office position to exist after Trump's presidency? That's a good question. I don't know. I didn't really get a whole lot on here. It seems like, just what I'm reading here, his issue is he doesn't want... He's against the spectacle of talking about arming Taiwan, aiding Taiwan as a form of saber rattling. Which it is, objectively. You can think it's justified, but that is what that is. You're literally saying, look at the weapons we have, don't do what we don't want you to do. And what you don't want them to do could be justified. But the statement by itself is that. That doesn't make you a tankie, though. It's also like... I'm sorry. Do we think that modern China is Marxist-Leninist? Like, you see how it gets weird? And I get that a lot of people who are tankies legitimately seem to, like, ignore the fact that Russia and China today are not socialist countries. But they treat them as, like, I don't know exactly what the deal is. They sort of pretend that there's some semblance of their socialist mission behind them because they're opposed to the US in terms of the international system. ML's hated her for this take. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything here. Like, the closest I'm seeing is this one, which says you cannot consolidate the progressive vote today while saber rattling war with China. That era is over. But that's not being a tankie. And like, to be clear, like, Democrats are saber rattling not just with China. They're saber rattling with countries in the Middle East. They're 100% apparently, with like a few almost meaningless outliers. They are almost to the man bought and sold by Israel and are supportive of its illegal invasions with virtually all of its neighbors. That doesn't make you that's silly. That's silly.
Pro-electoral and anti-tanky very explicitly.
But what I'm...
they're socialists, but...
She lost her primary and then Hassan Piker ripped into her because, that's because you supported Taiwan.
Also, I feel
Did
like
you say that? I would also disagree with that.
Go ahead,
in terms of their big memes, I feel like it's the Israel thing that they care more about. And she was quick to ID some APEC-funded dark money group that was against her as well. So I'm pretty sure Israel is the big motivating thing for a lot of these weird types of people.
For a lot of these weirdos, how many countries has Israel bombed in the past 2 years, Stephen? How many civilians has it murdered in the past 2 years? I'm being modest by saying 2 years. How many civilians, in the amount of time you've been talking about it, has it murdered? And I understand he's an ephebophile, okay? And I'm being particular with my language here. So, you know, the idea of children being killed probably doesn't register to Stephen as, like, of any particular interest, given that he was streaming while his son was overdosing in the other room. But I'm just saying, like, that seems like a pretty valid... That seems like a pretty valid thing to be focused on.
Vosh,
but I see
he's
tanky
an
as
ANCOM, right? Like, he's an
he's like an anarchist
communist,
libertarian
right?
or whatever.
I don't quite know what to do with the
also
ANCOMs, mostly because they've just like abandoned reality in a way.
Here,
that, like,
instead of like
MLs haven't.
fixing
all anarchists do, actually. Yeah.
He's also,
I agree.
He's also pro-Ukraine.
All anarchists do. You guys don't read. You don't have no idea who you're talking about. Who's an anarchist? Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Friend of Jeffrey Epstein, Noam Chomsky. Who are you talking about?
Right?
Instead of fixating on the weird labels, like here's the thing: is will they support Democrats in the general? That's like the main motivating
Bosch is,
thing.
right? I mean, literally
I think
canvassed
Richard
with you guys
Bosch literally
2020, right?
Wow, well, that's how many years ago?
Here's the irony of this entire conversation. These guys cannot push the needle. These guys cannot affect votes. All of these people collectively drop in the bucket. Disappears. Irrelevant. Irrelevant. Stephen can't even get on Joe Rogan. You guys ain't affecting election outcomes. Hassan Piker, who is bigger than all of you combined, cannot affect election outcomes. You need to understand the scale of things and the fact that the way in which it is presented to us on YouTube makes us delusional about our potential to act on it. As far as the as far as elections in America are concerned, Stephen may as well have a channel my size. He does not impact it at all. All of these people together do not impact it. They do nothing. Yeah, Vosh is an anarchist. Vosh adopted the anarcho-syndicalist label when he didn't know what that meant, but he thought it was hip. It's like when PhilosophyTube was making pro-Antifa videos. She had no investment. It was just popular at the time. Because, you know, people who watch YouTube are generally very dumb and very vulnerable and very gullible.
Go is that? I don't know why that's relevant.
Well, maybe he won't do it anymore. Well, the reason I keep bringing it up is because, like, that's why I want to
hold on. One at a time.
Vosh just literally said, I think he wouldn't vote for Gavin Newsom in the general because of his position on Israel-Palestine.
I wouldn't vote for Gavin Newsom because of his pivots on Israel-Palestine. He is obviously vacuous and will obviously betray you once he's in office. He will obviously, because this is how stupid these people are. Okay? You want to talk about parasites on democracy? You dumb motherfuckers. This is how you play democracy. When your candidates do not do what you want them to do, that is when you threaten to withhold your vote, which changes what they do if they value your vote. If you tell them you will vote for them regardless of what they do, they have no reason to appeal to you anymore, which means if they want to win, they will appeal to communities that are not fixed, that are not already conquered. They will then appeal to the other side. Which is why recently what's happened is you've had a bunch of Democrats suddenly be super pro foreign wars, super pro throwing trans people under the bus, super pro ICE, etc., etc. Super pro Israel, super pro genocide, because they have no reason to appeal to leftists, because they're convinced leftists will vote for them anyways. Which means you have not a two-party system in America, you have Republicans tied to the insane billionaires, and Republicans light, with a couple of old fogies like Bernie Sanders still kicking around somehow. Not much of a choice.
Oh, okay. Well, that's stupid.
This is like the Trump stuff. Wait, do you not see the minimizing language? Wait, like they're like, oh, this is stupid.
Okay, sorry. What words did you want me to use there? I'll agree with them.
No. You're saying it's not words, but it's like it's indicative of your state of mind because you keep doing this over and over and over again. Where anytime there's a bad thing brought up, you're like, oh, I guess it's kind of bad. Oh, yeah, that's not great. Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about your state of mind, Stephen. Let's talk about your state of mind. Let's talk about your state of mind. This is where you're at in 2026. Look at that shitty sign. It's like, dude. Look how empty it is. Nobody's there. They're not talking to anyone. God, he wants to be Charlie Kirk so badly. And the problem is nobody cares.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess. Like, it's not a thing that motivates
because I'm
you
more
very much
aligned with people on this side, but it's like, if you're going to be anti-electoral to say, I'm not going to vote for Gavin Newsom in general.
They started the whole, like, unfuck America thing following around Charlie Kirk. They were going to be like, we're anti the Trump guys. But because they are parasites on the right, when Charlie Kirk went, they had nothing to do. So they started following around Hassan Piker. This is immensely unpopular. Because Hassan Piker, for all of his faults, is a very popular, very personable content creator who is opposed to foreign wars that kill Americans by default because he's opposed to foreign wars that kill other people. And Destiny and these clowns are all for destabilizing the entire world and doing basically everything that Trump and Netanyahu want, but somehow they're anti-Trump. No, I think you guys just love death and love money. I think that's about it. I think you guys I think your souls are just rotten. Damn, you really hate Destiny? No, I don't hate Destiny. I can't hate Destiny. You might be confused by the tone of my voice. But I don't hate Destiny at all. I don't hate Destiny at all. See, I hate people. Okay? I hate sentient beings with evil intent towards things that I care about. And there's an important part of that equation there. There's an important part of that ensemble of characteristics that is missing from Stephen. When I look at Stephen, I see nothing. I see nothing at all. I see a confluence of other people's money and a flippity-flappity mouthpiece and a stomach and a morbidly grotesque additional organ which I shall not describe. Although I do recommend you walk without rhythm to avoid it. Destiny ain't human? No, of course he's human. I'm sure Destiny is like 100% genetically human. Okay, 100%. I mean, I don't know for certain. I'm 100% sure that I'm confident he is.
Like, yeah, you're not really part of my movement then. Sure.
The point
Well, I think
is
one of
that
the-
wait and see if PV is going to do exactly that. And if they do, criticize them, call them tanky, call them, no better than the DSA or whatever. But the idea is that you can shake your head, Wick, but the idea is that there is no proof that when there is a competitive race, which there will be this year, and you will see them support the Democrat in the election in a competitive Senate race, competitive House races, you will see that happen this year.
My
And
worry.
if you don't, then I'll join you in hating PV.
My
okay?
my
Okay.
I
worry
have every
here,
reason to.
if I may just
Nobody cares about your worries, Wick. You are the superfluous member of this conversation. They are allowing you to host it as a favor to you because you're a stooge.
Now let's go, Erudite. Sorry, Phil, shut up.
Let me add one thing.
Shut up.
because it's
No,
completely
shut up.
relevant.
Also, Kyla, just start the OF already. I don't know what are you doing this for? What are you doing this for? Just stop it. Give it up. No, nobody cares. This isn't for you. Just we know what you want to do. Just go do it.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, let me finish
It'll
my
be easier for you. You'll make more money for 5 years.
thought, and then we got some people that also
Yes,
want
I'll
to
allow
talk.
it. Go ahead, Wick.
My
Go ahead.
thought, right,
I'll allow it.
is I don't so much care what the leadership says they are. They are consistently promoting overwhelmingly a group of people who are anti-democrat.
Okay, but here's the problem. Wick. You were all in PV solely because a raging anti-Arab racist nutjob wanted to pay to have a bunch of online friends associate with her on the internet. You guys are parasites. You offered nothing to the organization. None of you did anything for it. All of you were a drain on resources that were donated with the intent to positively impact Democrat turnout for voting. And all of you were completely worthless. Every last one of you, to the man, has done absolutely nothing but create the spectacle of immense, mindless corruption and waste.
Right? Who are
Wait, what do you mean overwhelmingly?
anti-liberal.
I
And-
just went to the account. They're literally retweeting Gato Fumador.
Nobody could understand what you just said, Kraut.
What fucking reason do you have as a serious political organization to repost Gato Fumador out of all fucking people?
It's
California is so compromised.
Yes.
What the fuck is this? Only one U.S. Congress member does not take AIPAC money. That's like a blue state. That's like entirely going after what
Yeah,
the
and
Yeah, how many Democrats are pro-genocide in Gaza? You parrot.
And so they
Like-
can say all they want. Oh, I support, like in the general, we'll support them. But if you spend the whole time just trashing Democrats all day, and then the day before the election,
Listen, if you don't want Democrats to be trashed, don't make your Democrats trash. It's very simple. Don't promote compromised, corrupt war criminals. That's all. Very easy.
or the week before the election, you're like, okay, guy,
You get a vanilla milquetoast Democrat who does not have a record of saying that they will throw away human lives, including American lives, so that Israel can steal real estate from people it has put into a de facto position of enslavement. Then you know what? It'll be a lot easier. We'll have an easier time singing Kumbaya then. But until such a time, I'm sorry, You guys, to be clear, aren't liberals. You are Nazis. You are Nazis. The cowardly ones. The cowardly ones that pretended to just go along because it was pragmatic for the moment. You are Nazis. You are not liberals. You have no values. You aren't even law-abiding. A major person on this panel is actively in court because somebody who is working with you in PV had their intimate videos shared by him without consent. To a kid.
Just vote for the Democrats. It's cool, right?
Wait,
Well,
okay,
yeah,
this
but-
is entirely to my point of why I'm willing to work with such an organization. If they do what they did, which this is literally the shit like that inspires me to like
Who is the shithead?
move stuff and criticize people like Hassan for not doing shit like this in the general, in runoff elections in Georgia and Senate races. Okay, let's go put money and people out there and make sure we win this. If they're not doing that this year, I'm fucking out. That's why I'm trying to do stuff like this. And so like the idea that like if there's an alternative to this,
yeah,
I would absolutely jump on that instead because they are half of these people they promote are people like you said, Kraut, and other people are bringing them up. People I don't like, but half of them I do like. I do like Rokana. I do like Larkin. I like a lot of these people. So
we don't
it's
have to
like,
guess.
all right,
Soypil, we don't have to guess if they're gonna still advocate for the person they didn't like.
These kinds of people are the worst, by the way. These are the people who pretend to be leftist and then they go on and they're basically Juan Williams. I'm the good one. I'm the polite one. You can work with me, okay, guys? Listen. I'm gonna give you some moderate pushback, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna kiss the fucking ring.
Because they did. No. They did this already. They advocated for someone else in the governor race in was it New Jersey? They really did not like what was her name, Mikey Sherrill, and then they still made tons of calls for her after she won the primary. So and that's not even in a competitive race. That's in a race that like we probably were going to win. So if they're doing that in that race, they're going to do it in other races.
Okay, I think there's one thing. There's a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, the incentives, right? We need to be aware that anytime there's a progressive, more socialist camp within the Democrat Party, the main competitors that they will have in any type of election is in a blue state where they can run against Democrats. A progressive is almost never going to be running against a Republican. It's exceedingly rare. I think the only time we've seen states go from Republican to like socialist is Alberta with the NDP. And that was probably a fluke, right? So the
NDP is socialist.
incentive structure that we have to remember for progressives is their main competition is Democrats. It's us, right? And so I'm not opposed to people working with, I don't really care that much. I think
Okay, people need to understand, social democrats are not socialists. Social democrats are liberals with a heavy emphasis on, public programs, bluntly. They're not socialists. Socialism represents a drive towards a radical reorganization of what classes of people control the conditions of wealth. It has to do with not just redistributing wealth, but redistributing the means of wealth. The NDP, well, they are better than the Conservative Party, and sometimes better than the Liberal Party, are not socialist. They are liberal. Sunday, you should abandon any hope in electoral politics, even for harm reduction. I don't have hope in electoral politics, but it's a tool that's there. So you use the things that are there. It doesn't mean you have hope in it. That means just why not? That's basically my attitude towards voting right now. It's like, why not? Like, if you can push the needle a little bit in a way that maybe helps your side or delays the other side, do it. That's all. That's all. Like, you're not voting because you think voting will save the world. You're voting because it's a lever you have. You have other levers too, but it's a big lever that you have. That's why.
one of the things that we need to be aware of when we're working with socialists is we have
like,
to be...
hey, imagine this. Imagine this, if you will. Your country is under imperial domination. Okay, let's say you're in Gaza. Your country is under imperial domination. But because your parents moved to North America, you are an American citizen, and you can vote against funding the organization that is genociding your people. Do you not do that because voting will not usher in socialism? No, of course you engage in electoral politics there. You have a tiny, tiny, minuscule, and I cannot emphasize this enough, minuscule, almost meaningless lever on something very, very important. It takes 5 seconds. Just fucking do it. If voting didn't matter, the Republicans wouldn't be so aggressively trying to curtail who can vote. Obviously.
Be very clear that we're not in the same camp. If they want to take away private property rights and we don't,
But also true. Fuck hope.
we can work with them on certain.
I love that Christoph Waltz interview where someone was like, how do you maintain hope in such dark times? And he's like, I don't. It was great. It was a perfect answer. But it doesn't matter. That's not being hopeful. That's hedging your bets. That's saying, look, maybe it does do something. Costs me nothing. Takes me less time than watching a YouTube video. Do it. Do it.
aligned goals, like getting a Democrat instead of a Republican.
Even if it's just someone to fuck the Republicans over. Let's be clear. Every bad thing the Democrats want to do, and they do want to do it, and they are corrupt in the same way, the Republicans want to do harder and worse, and they have fewer impingements about it. Vote to get somebody in power who has more to lose when they do something evil. That's all. And not everything evil, because they do a lot of stuff evil that a lot of Democrat voters are fine with. America produces an immense surplus of incredibly bad people. Vote to get the people in who are not going to undermine, for example, the educational system that allows America to produce a tiny minority of smart, educated, good people. As one example.
But we have to be aware at all times that when we're working with them, we are conferring them power, and there are certain powers that
you're a Canadian woman. What are you talking? Who is we? Kyla, you are Canadian. You're not an American. Stop saying we.
They would want to utilize that we are diametrically and vehemently opposed to, and most moderates that would vote for us are vehemently opposed to. So I think that this is something really, really important.
I find Kyla and like the people around Destiny so fascinating because it's like these people must have realized by now that Destiny does not share popularity, right? Like you do not gain, with rare exceptions like Mr. Girl, who has his own natural charisma, had his own natural charisma, you do not gain an audience off of Destiny. I think it's the weirdest con that whole community has managed to pull off. A whole lot of losers actually think that if they suck up to Destiny, they will get wealth and fame at a comparable scale. That is not how that works. Hassan Piker is not as popular as he is because of Destiny, even though Destiny likes to float that around. Hassan Piker is as popular as he is because of other connections and because he's a likable guy. Hassan Piker is a likable guy. That's it. He's a likable guy, and he's anti-murdering children. Which for some people is a big deal. You know? Canadians have a thing about desiring to be Americans. Not me. Not me. I have no envy for your country. I have no envy for your country. I think when people gush up, when people are entranced with America's power, they forget that they are entranced with the power that is derived from enslaving millions of people. Literally. Not figuratively. And I have no truck with that. I don't have a great particular love for the culture of my own country, to be clear. But when you put it against America's, scales look like this. I'll take mine any day of the week.
Important to keep in mind. I guess to speak to progressive victory, I think the biggest issue that's happened here is that it in the federal election was dominantly floated and supported by liberal content creators and social spaces.
Oh no. Oh, contraire, madame. No, it was not supported by liberals. It paid you guys. It supported you. It gave you clowns a paycheck to show up because its leadership was stupid. I cannot stress this enough. Its leadership is really stupid. Lest you be confused into thinking I'm a pro-progressive victory guy. I think these people are embarrassing. But no, they were not supported by liberals. They gave out money that was donated from PACs to tiny, tiny streamers who can't do anything. If Progressive Victory was serious, by the way, none of the people on this panel would ever have been tapped by it. They would have spent all of their resources trying to get a Markiplier or somebody like that to say something. Be 1% political for one episode. This is why I talk about technology connections. Technology connections is an apolitical channel in the strongest sense. Technology connections.
You know,
Not yet, sweet prince. Technology connections talks about technology. He takes out vintage pieces of machinery and he shows you how they work. And he talks about their merits, their demerits, what have you. And he builds a very powerful rapport with an audience that is positively engaged with educational content. And then, at a particular moment of intensity, he switches from strictly talking about productive, technologically related things, and uses a talk about propaganda against renewable energy, solar, wind, etc., in order to make a massive polemic that reaches, as of 2 months, 3.5 million people against the Republican administration that is killing American citizens, waging illegal wars, undermining democratic avenues of responsibility by the executive. And it is immensely powerful. This video has had more of an impact than every single human being associated with Progressive Victory ever. All combined. If Progressive Victory was serious, they would try to get someone like this to do what this guy did. But they are unserious, so they don't. They get these losers. They get losers at my level. They get people who pull maybe if they're lucky, a few hundred viewers at a time to go rattle off their opinions about Donald Trump and tankies in an illiterate, derivative, desperate way. And that's it. And I cannot stress enough, even the most successful people on this panel look like fucking losers. They are losers. Steven is approaching 40. He's in court right now because he's sharing images of people he's sleeping with children. He's a loser. The people around him who are like, oh, everyone with a reputation has more or less abandoned Destiny and will only interact with him in an antagonistic fashion. I'll be his friend, and then I'll be famous too. Losers. Fatherless behavior, spiritually speaking. Mr. President, where are these evil residency promises? I have played that game for 6 hours, and I will do so later on. We are doing this panel right now. And you're going to sit there, and you're going to wait.
Being Destiny's community, but a couple of other communities as well that were also liberal. And it's so quickly flipped hard on them and kind of denounced them and pushed away liberals in a way that I think is extremely distasteful. And
we're going to give it like 30 minutes tops more.
Is exactly what we should expect from spaces that get captured.
He's winning the court case, by the way? What do you mean? Says who? How would you possibly know that? What do you mean he's winning the court case? You there? Destiny has been streaming about the court case nonstop from what I'm given to understand. You know what you don't do when you're winning a court case? You don't talk about it constantly. You don't talk about it constantly. Yeah, Destiny said he's winning the court case. Of course he did. Destiny also said you can read the court case, it's public. Oh, did it say he's won? That's not how that works for Pashy. I'm sorry. That's not how that works. No. No. I read the farms too. I've been keeping up. He ain't winning. He ain't winning.
by socialists, which is why you can work with them, but you need to be aware that you're basically in bed with the devil, and you need to be very cautious about it, because if you're fundamentally opposed to...
Kyla, your husband is... I'm not gonna... Should I go there? You're... You know what? I'm gonna be the better man in this case.
certain rights being removed, like property rights, they're opposed to you, necessarily.
Any other questions for me before I leave?
Not for me.
All right, cool.
Bye.
Anything else?
Love you.
How many
All right, peace.
Israeli shekels did you get paid for this showing? Ah, he's gone. I knew he would run away into the tunnel.
Of course he did.
Into the tunnel with he.
But yeah, I think Erudite kind of hit it on
I
the...
hope Sonny at least plays the soy pill after debate stuff. That's the best part. Is it? Is that the best part? Is that where we are at?
knows. The socialists aren't competing against MAGA. They're competing against Democrats for the same space. They want control of the apparatus, the institutions that Democrats have built and set up.
What institutions have Democrats built and set up? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm asking like there's an answer. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's saying.
And they can't get it from Republicans, but they can get it from Democrats, and they will absolutely.
I think that might be true in some blue states, but I'm not convinced that this is true overall. I had conversations a while ago with someone who works in like a policy think tank. He probably hates that I bring this up or him up. So he told me that there's a chance actually for the first time in decades to turn a substantial amount of Utah blue, because the Mormon community is at this point just completely disgusted with Trump. Just the complete moral debauchery and everything. And there's that more and more Mormons in Utah vote blue, and there's a chance that you could potentially even flip the state to something. But you're not going to flip that fucking state with someone like a Hassan Piker. So it's varies from region to region. You have to go from district to district, from state to state, look at what local voters want, etc., etc. If you run a Hassan Piker candidate in Texas, in Utah, you're just inviting yourself to lose. I mean, yeah, maybe there is a socialist who stands a chance in a place like Maine, Massachusetts, etc. But just they want everything or nothing. They don't strategize. Everything or nothing.
Here's my question, because obviously, Kyla, I agree with the idea that like these people's opponents are Democrats. They're running in mostly safe blue districts because they're never going to win in the competitive one. Yeah. Is there a liberal alternative group that excises people like this, that is doing the same stuff that I'm attracted to, which is mobilizing online audiences and communities?
Yeah, he really is soy. That is true.
No, because it always gets co-opted by people like you who always say we should work with tankies and socialists.
People like me, dude.
There's
did
two
it in
things.
2020.
I like who he's like, you know how sticky his keyboard is because he's using a dry wipe for his thing because he can't stop eating at the computer.
That's what inspired me to join it, dude. Come on.
There's two things. Number one, liberals is dominantly, especially so like, yes, Destiny, you're this like liberal alternative, like dark space that's always been like woke and whatnot. But the dominant liberal actual like space.
What about Destiny is even liberal, by the way? Oh my god, I didn't realize how bad he's. What is going on with this guy? Look at the. Just see what I'm looking at here. It's rough. He looks like the Pickle Rick model down here.
Has been filled with a lot of academic types who have been too afraid to stand up to socialists because they're very cowardly.
Look at this. Look at this.
Liberals just like want to stay in their institutions and be safe, and they've got the best policy. And I love liberals, but they're very cowardly, right? And so what they did is they
Destiny.
shook hands with the socialists because the socialists were cool, and then they said to everyone, we're just like them.
He looks like he's 50 years old. What the hell's going on?
And they were fucking lying the whole time, and that's a really big problem. So they did
like a bad 50.
Get it co-opted, but in part
like 50, but he's seen shit.
Got co-opted because liberals are terrified of supporting each other, and we're terrified of pissing off socialists.
Well,
we're afraid to lose that base.
Yeah, just
besides children.
I see it just a smidge differently. Because before 2016, it wasn't like this as much. There was some. But what happened when Trump won the first time is that liberals legitimately got scared. they thought they had it in the bag, right? They thought Clinton was going to win, right? They thought, okay, we have a formula. Obama had already won twice. We know what to do. We know how to handle these things. We have a great pitch. The people.
It's almost like liberals intrinsically produce incompetent, short-sighted morons for their representatives.
Love it. We're going to win. And when they didn't, it shocked them. And they made a deal with the devil in a lot of ways, because there was these socialists, these kind of tanky types in the wings.
A deal with the devil. They elected Biden,
who'd always been kind of trying to get power in the space. And they said, you know what? You guys failed, but we could win for you. And we let them into position.
What? What is this fan fiction? What the fuck are you talking about?
Positions of influence.
Wait, let me hear that again.
Trying to get power in the space. And they said, you know what? You guys who'd in a lot of ways, because there was these socialists, these kind of tanky types in the wings who'd always been kind of trying to get power in the space. And they said, you know what? You guys failed, but we could win for.
Are these socialists in the room with us now, Wick? What are you smoking? Like what? I'll take things that never happened for $500, Trebek. How dumb do you have to, like, that? You realize that, like, you're making up a historical event, right? Like, and of course this panel, and I cannot emphasize enough just how stupid Destiny is. Kyla I forgive, because she's just trying to imitate Destiny, and actually she had an okay appearance in Tim Pool. She had an okay appearance, and I'm not gonna lie, she actually did remarkably well, certainly in light of my expectations. But like, I cannot stress how stupid everybody is here to just go like, yeah, there were socialists who in the Democratic Party were like, give us the power, and we will rule together.
For you. And we let them into positions of influence.
I love his posture too. He really does think he's the man. He's like, he does the Gendo pose sometimes, like, and like, if it was a joke, you could laugh at it. It ain't a joke. It ain't a joke. This guy, you don't realize it because he sounds like a cartoon Easter bunny, but he literally thinks he's an anime villain, and he has that aura. That's what he thinks. That's how he imagines himself. He's insane. Like, just to emphasize, his original channel title was called Death of Certainty. Imagine the level of pretension to call a YouTube channel with like sub 100 subs Death of Certainty. It's embarrassing. I don't think the man has read a book in the last 5 years. But now you see what you need to understand, okay, guys? I can't do a Wick voice. I can't do a Wick voice. I can't sound like a child groomer.
And we started listening to him. But then, other than that, I agree with what you said. A lot of liberals became scared to kind of stand up to them, and now we have a problem, right?
Anyone gonna point out, hey, Wick, when did this happen? Who? Can we get some names? Can we get some names? Who are you talking about? Where? When?
Problem.
Okay.
A huge problem. And
He supposedly can read Mandarin. Oranges aren't a language. I think you mean. Yeah. No. You mean the Chinese language Mandarin? I see. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. No, I don't think it can read anything. I've never seen any evidence that Wick has any passion for Chinese literature of any sort. I don't think that's true. I find that very unlikely. You know what I bet he did though? I bet he took a Chinese elective in college.
the answer isn't clear. Like the answer isn't never working with them, obviously.
That is the
It
answer.
sounds like it is.
Kyla is the least dumb person on this panel. I am observing with my sharp wit and my sharp eyes, which I don't. These have no lenses, of course. I wear these as to confuse my enemies. I am observing that Kyla's brain, ever so slightly, is evolving. Call me crazy. I think I am starting to develop a slim hope that Kyla will be sentient within the next few years. Genuinely. Something's stirring in here. This like hate crush territory? No, I just don't like any of these people. But she's had some good appearances recently. And again, relative to expectations, I have not seen Destiny demonstrate growth. Intellectual growth. Moral growth is out the window. None of these people have souls. But I think Kyla's either been talking to people or been reading some stuff, because she's just gotten a little bit better. In a way that my pedantic ass will be sensitive to. I've been paying attention to this. I think she's the one person in this circle who is detecting where the winds are blowing a little bit. Saying she's smarter than Wick and Soypill and Dev, though, is not exactly like high praise, but I think she's a bit more perceptive than the other people on this panel.
I think it is the answer.
That's the only answer.
No, it is the
Like,
answer.
there is no other world where anybody would be okay with a group of people who are explicitly saying, we want to come in, we want to co-opt and destroy your movement, we want to do everything we can to funnel more people to our extreme side, and we're not going to support you in the general. And then like,
So-
okay,
They
let's
did,
Hold
but
on.
that's
Let
the
me-
thing.
let me
PG
clarify what I
supports
mean,
these
'cause
candidates
I
in the
think I was
general
under-
for competitive districts. I'm not talking
Well, let
about
me-
Hassan
let me just
specifically. I'm talking about Vosh if he says the same thing about Gavin News. I'm talking about PV that is putting this money behind mobilizing people to get Democrats elected.
Liberals should abandon PV, if I'm being frank. Like, that would be my position. Hassan
I mean, true.
Please
and
give me an
Vosh's.
alternative organization that's doing what they're doing.
I don't have an
I will
alternative
join if you have a
organization.
better one. That's what I'm
Sure,
saying. Like,
and I
what,
believe that
what
you
is
would.
what is your prescription for someone like me who is like, I don't want to, I don't like these people.
Here is the most beautiful sound in the galaxy.
Wick needs a fedora and a samurai sword, yes. Why is TTS not working? Hang on. TTS should be working. Why is TTS not working? Super chat, TTS. I guess TTS is down today. Sorry about that.
People, I don't want to work with them. However,
But what is the
I'm
current
willing
PV
to.
doing? Or what is the thing we're looking to emulate or whatever?
A collectivized group of
Phone
like left
banking,
content creators
canvassing,
doing-
door knocking,
yeah.
and
Wait, have they
competitive
done
districts and
that?
general
Did
elections.
they do that much? Wait, did they do that much once they became like tankified?
I don't know what the milestone of when that happened was, but if
Before-
they're not going to do it, but
when they were
Jonas says there's
tankified
already
before
plans to
and
do
after.
said thing. They just did this in a governor's race. That's what he brought up. Like, it sounds like they're still doing it.
They've been doing phone banking since before liberals joined and after liberals have been pushed away, just to be clear. And when I say don't, like, well, you have to work with them, I mean, you do have to work with some socialists. You just do. I'm not talking about tankies. I think the fact that people work with Hassan and Vosh, I think the fact that
She's less stupid than everybody on this panel. Fuck me, I hate this. She is less stupid than everyone on this panel. Kyla is the least dumb person in DGG right now, which is a statement, by the way.
Democrat candidates are literally slobbering at the mouth to go on Hassan's stream is a huge part of the problem.
That's
it just
not happening
is.
now, but yeah.
Well,
But
there's a
also, like-
lot of Democrats
And
who
I don't
want to
think
go
this
on
is
Hassan's
bad.
thing that
Destiny
won't,
worked
he won't
with
let them
Vosh in
on.
2020 in a project I agree with, right?
Yeah, but that was before
Before what? You got demonetized because you're an acratic loser who has zero vision, self-control, or sense of what you're doing, or any basic knowledge or skills? Like, let's be clear. You're where you are because you're a duplicitous scumbag who ambushed a few popular streamers online and then used that to pretend like you were some great anti-Republican, anti-conservative debate pro. And you used that notoriety in order to manipulate vulnerable, mentally ill women in your circle, and then to satisfy your ephebophilic urges by sharing intimate videos and images of those people with children. That's who you are. You are so toxic. Nobody serious will engage with you anymore. You are so toxic. You are desperately chasing around the ghost of Charlie Kirk. That's your life now. Like, you're done. You're done, Steve. You just don't know it yet. It's going to take a little while, but you're aging rapidly. Time is running out. You're going to be 40. You're going to be 40 soon, Steven. 40 soon. and clavicular will have been more successful than you.
First of all, that was when Vosh was willing to like kind of be more electorally minded. Number one. Number two, if you remember back in those days, remember when I did the panel with Vosh and Emma literally said, this is all a waste of time. We have no influence anyway. And now she's super gung-ho and excited because she's got a bunch of other tankies on panels with her. And now they're excited to drive like influence in that direction. So
wasn't Destiny added as a ephebophile? Excuse me, he's an ephebophile.
I mean, like we can go and look at all the people.
You got to get it right.
Invited, like these are all like pretty hardcore, like single issue Gaza genocide, like both sides of the same type voters. Like
all of them?
I said most of them. We can look at all the people on the panel. Most of them are probably like that. We can go back and recount up all the people, but like 90% of that PV thing was like about Israel. Like that's almost.
I know, right? It's crazy. It's crazy how, you know, a fascist country bombing a bunch of children. It's crazy how that just, you know, was sort of a sticking point for so many people. Wild. By the way, your son hates you publicly.
The only thing
they're
anybody's
very
talking
Israel
about.
brain, and I agreed with you there. But it's like, okay, if I'm going to look at like the majority report and disagree with like not a lot, maybe like 30 to 40% of like Emma's takes, and still say, hey, these people are still electoral, these people are still promoting good policy, these people are still trying to get the general like promoting Kamala, they're going to promote Gab.
Like, why are you on WhickTV, Stephen? Why do you not have time? You know, Andrew Wilson doesn't have time for shitty little panels like this. Andrew Wilson goes on to big debate things in which he's the main character. You're going on to WhickTV with fucking Dev. That's where you're at. You're going on to WhickTV with Wick. Why is your schedule so empty, Steve? Doesn't anybody want to talk to you anymore?
And even if it happens, like, I don't agree with Matt. Matt's like super tanky, but like Matt's the guy in the back who doesn't even have a camera. Like, do I just write these people off completely? And if
Well, no,
so,
if you feel
where
like
do I put my energy?
If you feel like
I'm not going to tell you what to do.
If you feel like you agree with about like 50% of what Emma says, then you're probably on that team. That's like the side.
That's a fucking default Sunday do better. Okay, your son knows you're an ephebophile. Your son knows that you send illicit imagery to people in his age range. Your son knows that. Like, think about that. Think. What would it be like trying to tell your kid to behave and to invest in school in the future when that is floating around about you? What is that like? Like, what is your self-perception in that moment? When you imagine from the outside the kind of thing that you are, what is that like?
That you're on, but then I just don't know why you either don't recognize it or you're also mask on, or
do you think
Emily is easily one of the most retarded people in media right now, and if you find that you're like agree with that,
talking about Emma Vigland.
Who's saying Emma Vigland? What?
Recognize it, or you're also mask on, or
do you think
Emily is easily one of the most retarded people in media right now, and if
who Emily who's he talking about? I didn't catch that.
Matt's the guy in the back who doesn't even have a camera. Like, do I just write these people off completely? And if
so,
if
you feel
where
like
do I put my energy?
If you feel like
I'm not going to tell you what to do.
If you feel like you agree with about like 50% of what Emma says, then you're probably on that.
Okay, so you said Emily next. Emma Vigland?
Team. That's like the side that you're.
Emma Vigland is pretty fucking smart.
On, but then I just don't know why you either don't recognize it, or
Emma Vigland is also generally taken seriously. Stephen is not.
Or you're also mask on, or
do you think
Emily is easily one of the most retarded people in media right now, and if you
True, yeah, true. Hey, Stephen, I haven't seen Emma's dick online. Just saying.
That you're like agree with that.
Talking about Emma Vigland, right?
True. Yeah, Emma Vigland. Yes. But I want to just soy pill, please. I want to hear from Kraut, because he's a guy invited on.
No, I'm just surprised because you said
Kraut, please. I need to address this because, like, okay, yeah. Destiny. I know you've moved further away, and I think Sam has moved a lot further left in ways that I don't like. But like Sam Cedar of Majority Report, like you respect. I respect definitely as someone who like I think is very well.
Like Emma is actually taken seriously. Emma's analysis is taken seriously. Stephen shows up after a 5-month Vicodin binge reading Wikipedia to a debate with 3 experts on Israel-Palestine, and he can't make the bold statement that he thinks that nuking the entire place would be genocidal. That is how stupid he is. I don't need to go that far, though. I could go as far as, he was openly pro-genocidal. Oh, explicitly, not even weasel wording around. It's just, oh yeah, he's pro-genocide, when he thought that Israel was in Anatolia, and he thought that Erdogan, who he thought was named Aragon, was the president of Israel. Imagine being pro-Israel in 2023 and not knowing who Netanyahu is. That is the level we are operating at. Because, lest we forget, Stephen has no credentials, he has no skills, he is a professional StarCraft player. His sole expertise is that he's really good at LAN parties. These people, if you can't read between the lines, are really dumb. Really dumb. The average person you encounter at an American supermarket probably has a better grasp on world affairs than anybody on this panel. No, LAN, L-A-N, LAN parties, not land parties. Jesus. Frickin' Zoomers, man.
Read and analyze these things mostly with a pretty level head. And if it's like, all right, if this guy's promoting it, I usually agree with most of this person's takes, if not, like
no, I don't feel that way about any of the majority report. No,
not at all. Like, you completely trust on Sam.
Yeah, 100%. You can't have that many bad people around you for that.
That's the kind of irresponsible spending that causes so many business ventures to fail. You're forgetting the third rule.
At Gengaros330 super chatted $2. Remember Hot Seat playing on computers PS?
I do.
That long and then like have none of the
radiation.
Responsibility or brunt of. Yeah, that's just insane. Yeah, there's a reason why.
It's wild to me that like I think if anything, my view of this is similar to your your description of how this has gone, which is Sam has taken a bunch of positions I don't agree with over the years and has moved farther away from where I would agree with him back maybe 2018 time. But to say like, hey, I used to really respect you and now I have 180, I don't agree with a single thing that you're talking about or promoting, I just think that's insane. Like
that's because he was slighted, because he's a weak little man with a fragile ego who has no discipline and no depth. So if you break his skin, you break his soul.
That's not. I don't.
I want to give it. I want to give it to Kraut, and I gotta use the restroom real quick, so I'll be right back. So Kraut, go ahead.
I bet he pees milk.
And I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Yeah. No, don't worry. Fuck. Where was it?
Isn't Kraut whom Bad Empanadas has is plotting to take him down or something? Yeah, something about calling the local cops or something like that, getting him outed to local gangs or whatever. Personally, I think they're going to go out the way Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty did at the end of the final problem. That's my prediction.
Since you brought up Sam Cedar, he also did this thing of blaming the...
Destiny debated Michael Brooks and lost as well. Did he debate... I actually have no memory of this. He debated Michael Brooks? That must... Man, Michael Brooks dying was such a damn shame.
Hey, what's up?
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm fucking exhausted, to be honest with you. Oh, can I swear on Twitch? Because we can't swear on YouTube anymore.
You can swear, just no racial slurs or any of that crazy brocialist stuff I know you guys are so fond of. But no, as long as you don't have any like
That's, by the way, if you branded my show somehow as using a bunch of racial
No,
slurs...
I'm just messing with you. Don't worry.
No, he means Michael Brooks. This is Michael Brooks.
Don't worry.
I completely missed it. This is from 6 years ago.
Brilliant out of the gate move you could do.
I would never do that to you guys. Yeah, no, but as long as there's like no racial slurs or anything like that, like we're fine. I wouldn't expect you to, but yeah, that's generally fine.
I don't anticipate.
I mean, I would expect Steven to, but...
Are we live now?
Yeah, I'm live on my channel now.
Hi, everybody.
All right. So I'm a big fan of yours. We've almost talked in the past.
By the way, reminder, because Destiny is a vapid, grifting... I don't know. I can't actually say what he is. It begins with a W, rhymes with door. Every single position he has staked out over the years, he has flipped on without explanation or justification. Why? Because he never knew why he had them in the first place, except for the fact that somebody he wanted to leech off of had that same opinion. It's the same reason why he's pro-Israel, despite not knowing where Israel is on the globe. Was this Michael Brooks? A dead guy, don't worry about it.
But then I think we just kind of missed connecting in a while. I'm generally a pretty big fan of what goes on with your show and everything you and Sam Cedar talk about. I think my favorite conversation I've heard of you is you on Sargon of Akkad, the regressive left. That conversation was a lot of fun.
That had to do a lot with Sargon of Akkad's Islamophobia, by the way.
Fun. And yeah, so you're here today probably because
Destiny's Arm does look like overcooked spaghetti, doesn't it? Or, you know, like a big pale earthworm.
a lot of mutuals are poking the fuck out of you guys because a lot of people get mad at my Twitter stuff. And somehow we ended up on discussing the TPP, which I imagine will broaden out to our general ideas about like neoliberalism or protectionist trade policy or something around those lines, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. I also just want to, I'm just curious. I mean, I'm assuming, do you have like familiarity with my work on both shows?
I'm not body shaming.
Maybe
I like earthworms. You think about that?
TMBS might be a little bit more where there's like some sort of more clear divergences, possibly just in terms of topic selection.
I'm familiar with you because I get linked a bunch of stuff, but I mean, I'm sure you know it's impossible to listen to keep up with anybody else's show. It's so much time, yeah. But like, I mean, my general idea of you is that you would be like a I think a democratic socialist at least, like somebody left leaning more than like a soc dem, and that all of your views kind of line up where I would expect to for that, like anti-imperialist, pro-worker, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know. And maybe you know, if this is productive, maybe we'll have more conversations / debates or whatever. Because let me just say how I kind of perceive like why we're here too. And one is that my impression of you has definitely been positive, and we've had, and it's been funny because it's been mutuals who several months ago were like, oh yeah, like you guys are both great, and you know, you'll have some disagreements, but you guys should team up to destroy X, Y, or Z person.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of weeks, it's been like, nah, you gotta like, you know, hold this guy in check or whatever. And I guess what I'm honestly trying to figure out is, so I feel like there's three things going on with what you're putting out. I'm trying to think of, because I'm just a value neutral way of saying it. So like one is, I think that
yes, they're doing the upload. This is from August 2019.
You are reacting to certain annoying social media habits that you might associate with a certain ideological tendency, right? And so for me, first of all, I think that is true of every single ideological tendency.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a problem of social media. It's a problem of kind of brand creation. And maybe we could have some ideas together, some strategies for generally making that whole environment better. But I'm just not terribly interested, you know, in those kind of arguments. I guess partially because, I mean, to be honest, partially one is because one of the things that I do I don't really cover much stuff like that.
All right, I'm bored. Anyways, point is,
the Russian
people suck.
Invasion of Ukraine, on NATO expansion and blah 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 blah. He also did that thing.
Really?
Yeah, they're all anti-America. All of those people are like, they hate the West, hate America, everything that.
Oh, they can't be that bad then.
Is related to it is like evil and bad and terrible.
I mean, it's a slave society, so yeah, kind of. It's a slave society that takes credit for the achievements of every other culture, and then just rapes the world. So yeah, actually, that's. I think that's good for them.
I think what I wanted to tell you is I see no obligation for people, like the way all of this transpired, this takeover of Progressive Victory, and the first thing they did, right, was not
very educational. Can at least say why Brooks died. He had like an aneurysm. Why do you care?
Like, you keep talking about as if this was a policy organization, but one of the main reasons why we're talking here, certainly the reason why Wick invited me in here, was because the first thing these people did was turn around and attack their enemies. The first fucking thing they did was going after their personal vendettas, etc. It's the only.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, dude. This is Kraut. By the end of 2017, in around mid-2017, Kraut, having reservations about an increasingly right-accepting skeptic community, decided to refocus on opposing the alt-right, seeking to challenge the alt-right's claims about breeding patterns and race realism on a more academic level. Kraut created a Discord server with the intent of connecting audience-having skeptics with knowledgeable academics to discredit alt-right assertions. Cool. Quite a few moderately prominent skeptics got involved with the server. Kraut would make several videos sourced from the server, but some were riddled with translation errors and some poorly chosen metaphors, most famously pregnant trout. By the end of 2017, the alt-right had found out about the server and managed to place a spy into it, trying to dig up dirt on Kraut. Around the same time, Kraut, while researching an alt-right YouTuber by the name of Coach Redpill, found his real name, Gonzalo Lira, as a signature at the end of his videos, and subsequently discovered serious accusations of fraud made by Australian economist Stephen Keen towards him. Kraut revealed this information to his friends on the Discord server and was looking to try to bring this information to popular point-and-laugh YouTuber Mr. Medicare. This got him basically laughed at because all of his connections were right-wing, classical liberal types like Sargon, and people sort of in that milieu. And a whole lot of people just jumped on him and ate him alive for it. Like, this is your bread and butter, dude. These people aren't jumping on fellow progressives, quote unquote, for petty reasons. It's because these people are pro-genocide. These are racists. What's fascinating is that you seem to be fine with this until it directly impacts Arabic children being massacred. What was that ad? I don't know what that ad was. Was there a weird ad there? Hang on. Let me see. 1 second. What the frick is this? Oh. Oh, that is weird. I have no idea. That's an excellent question. Maybe it's not a question we want answered.
Thing they fucking do all the fucking time. And when you keep saying this thing where you say, oh, you need to work with people anyway, even if you have disagreements. This isn't just about disagreements. These are people who talk about the way they engage with us is not a disagreement.
Okay, that's interesting you say that, Kraut, because people are talking about Destiny's court case, and Destiny's response is to dox them and to put guns on his back wall and to indicate his desire to kill them. Destiny is when Trump got shot at, the shooter missed and ended up killing a fireman who was bodily covering his family when he was killed. Destiny's reaction was to laugh at this person. I have no respect whatsoever for Trump voters. None. I would never in a million years laugh at someone for putting themselves bodily between bullets and their family. The people you associate with Kraut are exactly the same as the Nazis. They just found a different grift. There's no difference. There's no difference. Like, literally none. As soon as you're talking about people in the Middle East, frankly, as soon as you're talking about non-white people in America, they're perfectly fine with anything happening to these people. Anything at all.
It has the goal to have us annihilated. Their goal is to annihilate the center-left, to annihilate the center in general, to drive it out of the political conversation. And as
but how are they doing that? Like, legitimately, how are they doing that? The only people having conversations about who to include and who to exclude from the discourse are you guys. I don't see anybody in Hassan's circle saying, oh, we can't talk about these people, we can't talk with these people. Generally, their issue is with promoting these people. Generally, their issue is with letting people get away with spouting lies or spouting pro-genocidal or pro-imperialist rhetoric without pushback. They don't care if you talk to them. Nobody's going out there saying liberals can't speak. Who is doing that? Where? But I see you guys talking every other week. Guys, we need to kick the leftists out of our party. They aren't cool with us killing children. Because to be clear, these people are complicit with America killing children. Full stop. Not vicariously. Full stop.
Someone who is in the center, I see no reason to engage with someone like that. No reason to work with someone with that. Even if there is some sort of supposed common goal. And I can't even think of what the common goal supposedly is right now.
Okay,
Because
well,
I
then this
don't
is a
see
question
many common
Kraut,
goals.
then this is a question for you and Erudite.
Can I pose a question just because I barely...
How about getting a fascist out of the White House? How about getting ICE to stop terrorizing non-white Americans? How about to stop taking part in foreign wars of aggression against Iran? How about, like, there's a bunch of stuff. How about to not be openly be fucking with other countries and menacing them, like threatening to invade Cuba, actually invading Venezuela? Like, how about any of those things? That's not hard. You ask any tanky, full-on tanky, hey, should we get someone out of the White House who wants to invade Cuba or invade Venezuela? They'll probably be okay with that. If you get a bit more specific, they might be stupid and go, oh, well, I don't want to take part in this corrupt system or whatever. But yeah, they'd probably be down with not having someone who's using the American military to just devastate the economies of places that are not under direct American hegemonic rule.
When the men are talking, go
And
ahead.
I know my mic is soft. I'm just genuinely curious your guys' thoughts because I don't think I actually know the answer, and I don't think it's obvious that there is a super clear answer. When you guys think about like how to party with, when I look at the right, for example, like MAGA, there's a lot of like unions that got built.
If you want to know why Destiny hates progressive victory now, by the way, call me crazy, but I don't think it's because of the tankies. Just saying.
Even though we're now seeing they're actually very opposed to one another and they have a lot of issues, right? And I understand MAGA's super retarded and we all hate them, blah, blah, blah. All the things that you guys need to say of like, yes, we fucking hate MAGA. The question that I would have is essentially, is there some level of like political unification on the left of like activating the left that has to happen where we do have to essentially break bread to some degree with people who are enemies? My question would be, but should you just keep in mind that there are enemies? Are there certain people that we can work with that are in like the retarded socialist hates America?
Look at the MAGA coalition. Look at the MAGA coalition. They never emphasize their disagreements.
Yeah.
That's because they're Nazis, Kraut. They don't have disagreements. They just want power and they want non-white people to suffer. That's it. That's it. That's not a virtue, you idiot. Right now, their leadership is salting the earth so that there will not be a viable Republican candidate for a while. Republicans are kind of like tugging at their collars right now because they're seeing like the entire breakdown of any credibility the Republican Party has with American voters. Because the Republican Party has decided that it is going to be entirely run at the behest of the billionaire class, forgetting that there's an election coming up. I think Hegseth just fired another 2 generals today, didn't he? Like the brain drain. All of these resentful people with institutional authority, charisma, and influence. They're alienating themselves from everybody. Americans don't approve of the president. And if he ends up putting boots on the ground, he's going to have mass American casualties on his record. These people are insane. It is not a virtue that the right wing has no standards, you idiot.
Yes, and also they defend all of
experts.
themselves. They defend all of themselves no matter what. They're always got each other's backs, and they all support the candidate. That's the.
I know, right? That I would be envious of that too, Stephen, if I was in court for sharing illicit images of people that I worked with without their consent to children. I would covet that kind of blind loyalty. That would be a great asset under those conditions. And it is a great asset under those conditions for them. Maybe you should have picked your side more carefully.
Difference. On the left, these people do not support the candidate.
I know, right, Jemt? A bunch of weirdos with no power debating this like they matter at all. Nobody cares about what you clowns think. Should we let the leftists into the Democratic Party? Hassan Piker outperforms all of you combined in a day. Hassan Piker has more viewers than you all have in a month, in a day. Do you think anyone gives a shit what you clowns think? You may as well be at my scale. That's how small you are. It's like a large warrior ant calling a smaller black ant small. You're all ants.
You can't have, like, there's just no serious political commentator that was not, like, valiantly advocating to vote for Kamala Harris in 2024. Like, anybody who was not on that page, like, shouldn't have a voice in any left-leaning movement, unless they were, like, 12 or something, right?
Okay,
Unless
well,
you're a literal child. Like, that's insane.
I agree with that. Now, my question is, if I'm someone who's trying to emulate the type of stuff you did in 2020 and say, look, now I have an audience, now I have money, now I want to do something and actually get Democrats elected, and there's this organization that I should not work with because they have people like that in it, or work with people like that. What do I do with all that time, money, and energy if I can't form my own organization without the money?
I got
or
a
the time
potential
or
answer
the
for
logistics.
you.
Go ahead.
A buddy of mine.
Yeah, he fired the Army's chief of staff. He fired somebody else too. It wasn't just the Army's chief of staff. It was oh, it was 3 people. It was the Army's chief of staff and 2 other senior officers. Probably because they told him, hey, you don't have a plan, maybe you should make one.
Says that there is a alternative to progressive victory, and he wants to give a quick pitch for it, right? So I'm going to bring him on, and
oh my god.
He can maybe pitch it to you.
This guy's going to pitch an alternative for progressive victory, guys. We'll wrap it up here, I think.
Sure.
Slow Trace.
Oh boy.
Yeah, what's up, Wick?
Yeah, you got something to pitch to Buddy Soypill, because he's asking for alternatives here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I would say you should go to digitalgroundgame.org. It is a
Digital Ground Game
organization run by a lot of us who actually did the PV program in 2024.
Wow, so when it failed, when it alienated everybody, and when it created a whole bunch of embarrassing clips because of all of you. Oh my god. Okay, hang on. digitalgroundgames.org. Let's take a look at this thing. Digital Ground Game. Does the website even work? Digital Ground Game. Oh, look at these. Look at these go-getters. Oh, man. Our mission. We are unwavering in our commitment to democracy, free expression, equality under the law. Free expression. Hey, should we silence the tankies? Okay. Equality under the law and the power of markets to drive prosperity. What? The power of what do you mean markets to... Markets don't drive prosperity, you idiot. How do markets drive prosperity? How do markets drive anything? They're markets. They get driven. Our mission is not just about the present, but also about the future, building lasting political power and developing the next generation of leaders. Next generation of leaders, guys. These are the kingmakers, okay? Our accomplishments. We knocked on 360,000 plus door knocks in the 2024 election cycle under another organization called PV. You didn't do jack. At the largest independent canvassing event in Ohio history. Under PV, right? In 2024. You were in PV in 2024. PV did that. Largest rookie ground game in 20... I don't know what the hell is a ground game? What does that mean? What? What is that? Is that a term? What? Like this? Is that what you're talking about? 7 canvassing houses, 4 large events operating in 8 states last. Can't even click these. Talking points. How to talk to normies. Okay. On tyranny. A common saying that one might hear from normies goes something like this. Those who do not learn from history will surely repeat it. Wow. Anyone with a background in history will explain why this quote haunts their mind at every second of the day. What could be wrong with well-meaning people wanting to study so that they can improve the present? In a vacuum, nothing. But in practice, the average person is not aware of the copious present-day cultural symbols and beliefs which bias any study of the past. It is easy to look back and see that the genocidal regime which ruled Nazi Germany was evil. It is even easier to find a grab bag of aesthetically sort of evil-looking traits, which exist both in the 20th century and 21st centuries, and then delude oneself into thinking that history has been solved. I figured it out. It is bad when the government makes racial considerations and wants to tax citizens and confiscate guns. I really don't think... Okay. I'm going to be real with you guys. When I reflect on the history of Germany in the previous century, I would not describe the actions of the National Socialists as making racial considerations. That is not the rhetoric that I would use to describe that. Congratulations, this formula easily creates a typical libertarian-leaning reactionary conservative. They are now convinced that Hitler was on the left and that the Democratic Party are the bad guys of 2020s. After all, they were defending slavery only 100 years ago. It's just common sense. I mean, they're defending slavery now, to be clear, but leaving that aside, the work of historian Timothy Snyder is painfully relevant in the 21st century. While people in the present day might read about the Holocaust and only see a series of unjustifiable and inhuman actions, it remains the role of historians to explain what caused such events. In his book On Tyranny, which is short and dedicated to a popular audience, and is probably the only book whoever wrote this has read in the past 5 years, published shortly after the 2016 election, Snyder constructs a set of prescriptions which the reader must follow to avoid tyranny. How is this talking to normies? Go read the book. Here, go read a book. Go read a book. I got a book for you. What? Timothy Snyder's perspective will color this article, but his work cannot easily bridge the gap between digital and grassroots political change. So why are you bringing it up? This article is called How to Talk... Persuasion and Debate Applicable to All Topics. How to Talk to Normies. These guys are idiots. These guys are idiots, man. But we knew. I don't know why I'm bothering to say that. Of course they're idiots. You're advertising your thing on WhickTV. WhickTV. Do you realize how desperate you are to advertise on WhickTV?
And we're looking for, no shade or flame on PV necessarily, but looking for more of a center-left way to do similar kinds of that work, mobilize online communities, streamers, to do canvassing and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome.
You mean like Brianna Wu did?
If you want to check it out, digitalgroundgame.org. We've got a Discord where everything happens.
Is this a Z's thing?
No, it is not. It is, I know, a very unfortunate name. It is, it's completely different. It's a very similar Z's.
It's a very unfortunate name. Change the name, you morons.
National ground game. Ours is a digital ground game. They are very similar names, and we love.
Pick a different name. The name sucks. The name's not good.
We're great friends, but it is a totally different thing. We're all about organizing online communities, whether that's getting them to go show up to their local things, like we organize lots of people to go to No Kings, or get involved with local Democratic parties, or.
So you're useless then. you send people to already widely promoted major events that everybody already knows about. That's not an achievement, buddy.
More big things like canvassing events, canvassing houses, things that you've seen from...
Okay, enough of this. Okay, I'm bored. I'm bored. Resident Evil time. We covered it. Are there any clips from this that are worth covering? Like, is there anything that's like really bad before we move on? Is there any, like, this apparently has been making waves. There have been like some, not like really making waves, but there have been funny clips about it apparently. Is there anything we are missing before we move on to Resident Evil 9, which is very good. And I'm making a Nietzschean video about it when I'm done. Because it is so good. I will say, Kyla is a little bit smarter than these clowns. A little bit. She's a little bit smarter than them. I've actually been a little bit impressed. Not majorly impressed, but a little bit impressed lately. I have a slim degree of hope for the future of one of these people, which, by the way, is a very, very bold statement for me. A little bit smart. Kyla, you will never be popular with these people. They hate you. They only like you because you defend Destiny, because these people have no dignity. Cut ties. Do something else. You'll be more popular. You'll be more effective. Embrace the Hassan Pikerverse. I think you'd actually do a good job if you just folded on things. Made an apology for the bullshit stuff you said, and work a little bit on having less garbage positions, and actually thinking about what you say, and maybe. I don't know. I'm an eternal naive optimist, though. People are stupid, and they're addicted to what the first thing they latch onto. Toward the end, Soypil is clipped for being anti-Semitic, for questioning if there was not a way... What? How far in? Do you have a timestamp? Let's see. Let me try and find it. Wow, they ruined the transcripts thing. They absolutely ruined it. You can't even see how many instances there are of a word in it anymore. It's a whole lot of wick yapping near the end there. Too much wick yapping. There we go. Is this it?
No, because obviously this can't... No, because...
Yeah, here it is. Okay, here it is. We found it. We found it.
Okay. It doesn't mean that liberals in Canada are terrible, but he was just uniquely bad for the Liberal Party.
Fair enough.
He just had his reputation saved
$2
by Trump.
$2 for One Hero HQ to say Wick is right. We should just prefer you to say it. Okay, well, thank you for that. I do appreciate you. $5 from Real Determinatus to say Soypil will unironically support the second worst person on a topic by virtue of them not being the number one worst person on a topic.
Support them? I think that's doing a lot of heavy lifting there for support.
$5 from Auto Shara to say Soypil, yes or no? Channeling his inner peace.
Yes.
If the
Oh, wait,
Jews
is there a
became
question?
the
Okay.
minority because all of Israel was taken over, do you think there would be a second Holocaust?
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, they're surrounded by people that want to kill them.
Tectonic for $10.
Wait, how can you be anti-Zionist? How does that make sense?
Because Zionism is like, well, Jews need a homeland, and it has to be in this specific place that's going to cause constant war and turmoil.
Actually, you know what's crazy is Zionism doesn't actually require it to be in that specific place. Herschel allowed for it to be in, I think, Australia. Like the need was for a specific territory for Jews to be a homeland. It wasn't specifically to be in Israel. Herzl. Like what I think what a lot of people miss here is that, like, what is called Zionism in present day isn't even really Zionism. It's just Nazism for Israel. Zionism was a prospective project of state building. The state's there. So Zionism in present day isn't really Zionism. It's literally just racism against the people who live around the area of Palestine. It is literally just virulent racism against Arabs and against Iranians and against basically everybody, frankly. It really is just a supremacist cult at this point, and that is not what it started out as. That's not what it started out as. Even early Zionist settlers, who were explicit colonialists, by the way. The institutions they used were named after the colonization effort. They wanted to get along with the locals. A lot of them were socialists. They wanted to get along with the locals. The British even offered part of Germany to them towards the end of World War II. Yeah. Like, there was... That is not a part of it. So you can absolutely be critical of the Israeli state and or think that maybe the Israeli state being demolished would cause bad things or whatever, or cause a lot of death. And some people don't think that's a bad thing. And still be like that, not impact your pro or anti-Zionist stance. Why? Because it's kind of a misnomer at this point. People oversimplify it and don't really care about being specific because it's distant and sort of immaterial. But like, strictly speaking, critics of Israel in present day are not anti-Zionist. There's just anti-fascist and anti-Nazi and anti-genocide. That's all. Because there is no Zionist position anymore. It's not a thing. It's not coherent in current terms. Like, it doesn't mean anything. There are no people who have like a Zionist theory. It's not a thing that exists.
And I don't know if I support that. I think that, yeah, there should be a place that Jews call their home, given the fact that they're kicked out of fucking everywhere and there's anti-Semitism everywhere. But the idea that the only solution to this is to establish in this historical homeland that is never, ever going to be solved, it is constantly going to be having war, fought back and forth and killing millions.
I mean, that's not necessarily true. In fact, they were able to live there for quite a ways until they started abusing the local population and stealing land. And by they, I mean the British. Because unfortunately, the actual colonial effort that prevailed was not Jews coming over because they wanted a safe place to live. It was imperialist nutjobs who wanted to use that as an opportunity to get state power.
Millions and millions of people. I just think it's ridiculous. I think this is a
Where could they have
stupid
gone
religious
Wait,
dogmatic.
wait, where should they go then?
argument. They should just spread out into other countries. I don't think you
Destiny made you. I don't get any views from Destiny. What?
can just give them a fucking homeland. I think it's just a
The whole point of
ridiculous
Zionism
proposition.
is that the
wait,
diaspora
hold
is
on.
constantly genocided against, which is why they want.
That's not actually the whole point of Zionism. Zionism precedes that. It precedes the Holocaust. There are pogroms. There is so on and so forth. There is widespread persecution. It is not based on. It is not a response to genocide. Genocide was not thought at the time. There wasn't a name for it.
Want this, right? Because Jews
Give them
consistently
Manhattan
been
Island. Give
not
them
protected
Brooklyn.
as a-
Do
Ishiali, you got to call in or you're banned. That's the rule.
Well,
do
actually-
a Native
actually,
American.
Kraut-
Do a Native
Kraut-
American thing. Give them a fucking reservation in America somewhere. I don't know. Like
As
the
a-
idea that it has to be in Israel is just ridiculous.
As a
Well,
case
well-
in point, okay.
How is this a case in point? Of what?
Wasn't
no,
there
wait,
like
make him answer. You just
You're,
accused me.
just, I just want to say you're advocating for the full
This
ethnic cleansing
Wick picking his nose over here.
of Jews from Israel, right?
No.
Just say
That is the wrong way to answer that, friendo.
yes.
No,
You're calling
because
for a
obviously
worldwide
this
diaspora,
can't. No, because this can't work anyway. We're already
Jesus Christ, I really don't. This is pathetic.
in
Just
too
say,
deep
then
at
just
this
say it.
point.
Yes,
If I,
then just say it. Just say it. By the way, the position that
I don't
now
want the
you've
full
adopted,
ethnic
you have
cleansing
to,
of
it
Jews
doesn't
from
matter.
Israel.
This
I
is what
don't
I
want the-
mean when
oh
I
my
say
God.
leftists have a more anti-Semitic position than that would cash out into a more anti-Semitic position than.
I want Palestinians to be given legal rights and to not have their land stolen from them, and to be able to vote in local governments and to have control over their resources. In Gaza and the West Bank, and I'm fine with those lines staying where they are. Where they were before it started, the theft of land started incrementally increasing rapidly. There. That was that hard? They're Arabic citizens of Israel. Like it's not as simple as just shutting down Israel, and therefore, like I'm sorry, like that's not a viable solution. It's also not on the table, and nobody serious is even entertaining the idea of Israel being removed as an entity. Like, to be clear, including like insurgent organizations in Gaza and the West Bank, nobody is taking seriously the idea that Israel can be moved. That's not a thing. Every country around it, every organization, including Palestinian ones, including Palestinian nationalist ones, are vying for recognition globally so that Israel does not steal any more land. Key emphasis, any more. Two-state solutions, out the window. Nobody even thinks that's a possibility. It's a bugbear myth that liberals use to pretend to be enlightened about the topic, where they say, oh, well, why can't we just have a two-state solution? Wouldn't that be equitable? It's like, yeah, you could if the state wasn't run by Nazis. So what you actually want at this juncture is for kids to stop being killed. That's the priority. You want people to stop you want it so that civilians are no longer being massacred, and you want them to have basic rights so they aren't being arbitrarily jailed and treated like second-class citizens or worse. You want the breakdown of apartheid conditions. That's the goal. You ain't getting a Palestinian state. You are never getting a Palestinian state. There's too much money and power against you. That's not how this works. Nobody wants a Palestinian state. Israel's enemies don't want a Palestinian state. The Palestinians being a constant optical drain and a constant provocation for Israel to make political mistakes is a benefit to Israel's enemies. Nobody wants it. It's insane. These people are so dumb.
Than neo-Nazis do. What do you mean you don't? You just said you want them to flee Israel and go to all other places on the planet. That's an ethnic cleansing from Israel.
Let me clarify. Obviously.
But you wanted ethnic cleansing from Palestine, Stephen. You were pro ethnic cleansing from Palestine even before October 7th.
This is not available now. They've been established there for 80 years. Okay, now
But
I
if
don't
you
know
could.
what the fuck you do. It is.
If you
I
could.
no. If you
If it was
if I
really
snap
fucking
my
good.
fingers and
No.
teleport Israel, like lift it up like a big island and drop it next to fucking Manhattan, I would. And that
What?
would be ethnic cleansing. But they don't really need to travel into Libya and Egypt and all this shit. But like, no, I don't want.
Man, these guys are dumb. Man, these guys are dumb. Ishiali, call in. Come on. I haven't had... I feel like I've been on a vegan diet. No? All right. You got 15 seconds, okay? 15 seconds to say you're calling in or you're banned.
To like expel them. I don't think we should kick them off their land. Obviously, there's two established. This is like saying like, yeah, I don't support the genocide and the expelling of Native Americans, but guess what? It's been fucking like 400 years. I don't know how you rectify this at that point.
Stop taking their land, stop stealing their water, stop jailing them, stop abusing them, stop stealing their resources. Give them reparations, give them aid so that they can rebuild and live decently. Like that's what you do. And by the way, like, natives are still having their territory robbed from them to this day. Like, what planet is this?
You need to find a way to, like, I don't know how to fucking solve Israel-Palestine, but no. Obviously, what I mean is the project of Zionism to establish it in Israel, and the way that they did this, I think, was destructive as fuck. I think it's led to all these problems.
I know someone that wants to talk to you on Discord. Who?
I think they should have chosen something different at the time.
Yeah,
and so the idea...
When you're saying anti-Zionist, as in you don't want them to be the majority in their country anymore, so then what is that?
Is that
You don't want them to be the majority in the country anymore. Who cares if they're the majority in the country? That's a demographic issue. I want the people who are in the territory to have rights and to be treated like human beings.
What anti-Zionism is? I'm not saying that they can't be the majority, unless
literally
being the majority in their
that's
country.
Zionism is where you have a Jewish majority in Israel because it's an ethno-protected majority. Yes, so if you're
If
anti-Zionist,
the way
that is not what Zionism is.
If the way that you are establishing this ethnic majority is that you expel minorities and like steal their land and kill people, yeah, then I'm anti that.
So
they've already done that.
Realistic.
No, they haven't already done that. They are still doing it in one continuous process. They are at this moment. They just reintroduced the death penalty specifically for victims of land theft in the West Bank. I believe he DM'd you. I didn't get any DM. I don't see any DM. There's no DM here. There's no DM. I didn't get any DM. I've got no notifications.
Wait, because nobody ever has to answer this question on the level. They say they're anti-Zionist. I know why, but I'm just curious. Like, so what is the solution then? It's the ethnic cleansing of Jews from Israel.
Is the so the are you giving a dichotomy between first of all the idea that I can solve
fine.
Israel Palestine is ridiculous because I'm fucking retarded, but
Well,
second of all you're asking me if you're asking me the dichotomy between what they're doing in the West Bank and Gaza and not doing that, I think there's probably a better thing to do, and just because I don't know exactly what they should do doesn't mean I'm anti-Jew or anti-fucking like.
How embarrassing. Just genuinely, what an embarrassing performance.
I never said you're anti-Jew. I'm just saying. This is why I hate that the whole leftist people have decided to purity test on this one issue because the position is totally.
Yeah, we're purity testing on the issue of killing thousands of children, Stephen. I understand there were other things you wanted to do to children, okay? I understand. Don't worry. I know what you are. I know what kind of thing you are.
Hannibal. No, I'm not saying you are, but all the other people that you listen to or that are on the far left that purity does on this position. Like when somebody says they're anti-Zionist, I just don't know what that means. What does it actually?
That's probably true. He doesn't know what that means.
I'm anti-Israel's project of ethnically cleansing Gazans right now.
Okay. Just your first.
So if they stopped in Gaza, just real quick, hold on. If they stopped in Gaza today, stopped in the West Bank, but still kept their ratios for how many ethnic Jews are in the country versus how many other ethnicities are in the country, you'd be okay with that?
Obviously.
How do they enforce their ethnic ratio?
No, he didn't say enforce. He said if that ratio was the case, he'd be okay with that.
By only letting in ethnic Jews.
So hang on. Wait, so you would you be okay with there being a fascist ethno-state still as long as they stopped stealing land? No. I would take as a trade-off. I'm going to focus on them killing kids first and stealing people's houses first. That's the first priority. But no, I would. What is with these guys? Look, guys. Look, the far left are a parasite on democracy. Okay, we're the real pro-democracy people. We believe in ethno-states killing children and only letting in people from their preferred races into the country. Sunday, do you agree that Israel is not a colonial state? No, Israel is Israel is arguably the most colonial state currently in existence. It's actively engaging in colonization right now in the old school way. It's not even veiled. Like it's absolutely a colonial state. What? What?
And expelling.
How on earth do you read the opposite into anything that I said?
If it goes above a certain amount, the other.
And if I say
Wick is generally the most disgusting person on this platform, full stop. In a very important sense, there are people who are more morally depraved in terms of the debauchery that they directly engage in. There are people who are more immediately sort of hideous in various ways. But you have this sublime confluence of just both physical and moral and intellectual weakness, and just despicable, craven servility to the most disgusting creatures on earth. Stephen in particular. And it's like, I can't... he just wins. He just wins. These people aren't liberals, by the way. These people are Nazis. They're Nazis that are in denial. These are Nazis. These are pro-genocide, pro-murder freaks. These are people who just love murder. They just love murder. It makes them happy. It makes them feel big. That's it. Stephen didn't care that the person who was shot at the Trump rally was a firefighter who died protecting his family. He just loves death. He himself has defended Republicans opening fire on activists. He himself has defended and taken pleasure in innocent people being murdered by fascist governments. He just loves death. He loves seeing women and children getting killed. That makes him feel big inside because he's very small on the outside and very gross. And he's a pedophile. Anyways. Resident Evil time.